Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another NFL mock draft. Before I get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Um, Today, guys, we are not going to be doing any trades, but I'm going to intentionally make certain picks that I wouldn't normally pick, kind of switch up the draft a little bit to see all of the different like options that teams really have. For instance, the Tennessee Titans, like even though they're most likely going to be taking Cam Ward right here, I'm gonna go ahead and give them Abdul Carter. Okay, like I would definitely say Abdul Carter's the best player in the draft. And Cam Ward, like he's definitely the best quarterback in the draft. I would definitely put him above like Sanders and Dart and those sort of guys. But I do think Abdul Carter is the best player in the draft, and if the Titans are worried about specifically just you know getting good players right now and then worry about quarterback later on, Bill Carter could be in play. Again, probably won't happen. It'll probably be Cam Ward, but who knows? So with this in mind, I think the Cleveland Browns would be surprised that Cam Ward is available for them, so they will go ahead and take Ward right here. For the Giants, I still like. I still wouldn't be shocked at all if they end up going and getting Shador Sanders right here. Um, this does feel like a scenario though that like I could definitely see Shador Sanders falling, but I also wouldn't be surprised if some like surprise team comes in and takes him way earlier than we're expecting. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks around him right there. Um, Sanders is a relatively normal pick for me for the Giants. So for sake of switching it up, I am gonna go ahead and go with Travis Hunter instead. Um, see how the board falls with that instead. With this in mind for the Patriots, and like I said before, I would have normally gone Teteroa McMillan right here. Um, I think I wouldn't say there's like a strong possibility, but I think there's a little bit of credibility to the Patriots possibly taking like Ashton Genty right here. I know that sounds absolutely insane, but I think it's a possibility. I definitely wouldn't go Mason Graham here anymore with them signing Milton Williams in free agency. Sure, they could you know double up and just get a really insane D line. I don't think they're gonna do that. Um, I kind of want to go Ashton Genty here and see how the rest of the draft plays out. That kind of has me intrigued here. I know I'm going to trigger a lot of fan bases with this. I know this is not a good mock draft right off the bat. Um, this this one isn't intended to be super accurate. It's just kind of having fun, seeing what the other sort of like possibilities are. So the Jaguars, it really truly feels like Mason Graham is like the locked in guy, like for sure. Um, I don't know if anybody else has that sort of feeling, but I really don't feel like it's anybody else but Mason Graham for the Jags right now. So I'm going to do that one. I think that makes the most sense. For the Raiders, they do have Geno Smith. They traded a third for him before, just a couple weeks ago. And part of me kind of wants to go Shador Sanders here because I know that like if you give Sanders a year or two to actually sit behind a vet and really develop and understand how the NFL is, he could turn into a good player. I feel like the worst situation for him would be going somewhere where he's thrown to the fire. Question is, would the Raiders really spend the 6th overall pick on a guy that they can't use this year? That's the question. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Part of me is pretty intrigued by Teteroa McMillan though. I mean, that offense could definitely use a lot of help. Throw 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 McMillan into that offense and pair him up with, Brock Bowers, give Geno Smith the best chance possible to succeed. I'm honestly intrigued by that. I would say it's if the board did fell like this, I would say it'd be between Shador and Tet. I would say for sake of worrying about this year, I'm gonna go Tet McMillan. Though if they're worried more about the future and, aren't worried about Shador playing this year, they could sit him behind Geno for a year or two and then have their quarterback. Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. For the Jets, honestly, I haven't really seen many people talking about quarterback for them specifically. I don't know why, because as of right now, their quarterback is Tyrod Taylor, if I'm not mistaken. That's not a very good situation. So I am going to go ahead and have them take Shador Sanders. Have a guy that can come in and play right now. Also, if you guys are skipping through parts of the video, I just want to remind you, this mock is intended to be, pretty inaccurate, but just choosing like alternate players to, just see how the board could really fall together. Like right here for the Panthers, I would normally go Jalen Walker. He is my favorite player in the draft. Not necessarily the best player in the draft, but he's my favorite. I think I'm going to go ahead and entertain the Will Johnson pick right here. Pairing him up with J.C. Horn. I think that'd make a really good cornerback duo. For the Saints, normally a guy like Tyler Warren is in play here. I think I'm actually going to go with wide receiver, though, and go with Matthew Golden out of Texas. He's definitely gained a lot of steam lately, and I mean, the Saints are in a spot that, they need some wide receiver help, and I would definitely expect Kellen Moore to, make a push for offensive pieces here in the draft. For the Bears, it's probably a pretty boring pick for them, but I don't know how much, you could really trust the tackles long term. I think we end up going Will Campbell right here. I know they've really, really cleaned up the interior O-line this offseason. You add in a really good tackle there, and I believe Will Campbell can play left or right tackle. Really just depends on, how the Bears actually want to put together their O-line. I feel like that'd make their O-line significantly better than really it already is. They've really cleaned it up a lot this offseason, so I feel like for the 49ers, you've gotta stick with building the trenches. Well, really specifically building the O-line. So I think Armand Membu still has to be the pick. I know that's one that doesn't change in these mocks, but I mean, they kind of have to clean up the O-line. That's really not up for debate. For the Cowboys, I'm going to go ahead and give them Jalen Walker. I feel like you pair him up with like Micah Parsons, DeMarvion Overshone, and then really if you get another like pure edge rusher, and to go on the other side of Micah Parsons, that's a pretty dang good front seven. Because again, Jalen Walker isn't going to be a full time edge in the NFL. He's gonna definitely play some off ball linebacker. He's gonna blitz a lot. My best comps for him right there are gonna be like a Frankie Louvu, a Zach Bond. Um, Honestly, you could probably even throw Andrew Van Ginkel in there. I feel like they're pretty similar players there too. And adding that into Dallas's defense, that's going to make a big difference for them. For the Dolphins, as I've said before, I would normally go Malachi Starks here 100%. I think this is one I'm going to switch up just for today. We'll go ahead and get Tua some protection. And I think we go Kelvin Banks right there. You want to try to avoid Tua getting hit as little as possible. You know, where he's had all of the concussion issues and really even other injury issues, like you want to protect him, as well as you can. For the Colts, I am going to go ahead and actually go. I would say here it's definitely between Tyler Warren and Jahad Campbell. I went with Campbell in my last mock draft because Warren wasn't available. But honestly, like I'm kind of coming around to, Campbell being the pick instead. But also I'm kind of thinking like how likely really is it that Warren falls past the Colts here? I don't think that's necessarily super likely. Um, Again, I really like Jahad Campbell as, really coming in being, you know, that main linebacker piece that the Colts really need. Um, Coming in and, I truly believe Campbell can lead that defense and really be that focal point that the defense has been missing since, Darius Leonard, or I guess Shaq Leonard as he goes by now. Um, I think I'm going to lean Jahad Campbell here. All right. I know a lot of people don't understand, passing on Tyler Warren right there, but I think it makes sense. For the Atlanta Falcons here, I can already see the comments rolling in for this one. I'm going to go Tyler Warren. I think that this year is going to be the last straw for Kyle Pitts, and I think they're going to either look to trade him at the deadline, or else he'll just be gone after this year. If I remember correctly, and Falcons fans can correct me if I'm wrong. So he was drafted in, was it 2020 or 2021? If it's 2020, then he's on the last year of his contract and might not have the fifth year option. If it was 2020, then he'd be playing on the fifth year option right now. So either way, I would not expect that he's going to be back next year unless he puts together a really crazy season. I think Tyler Warren could be a really good replacement there, especially where Atlanta has shown the last, well, really every year since Kyle Pitts, really shown that they like to get really talented offensive pieces in the first round. Dating back to obviously Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and then Michael Penix last year. Throw in Tyler Warren this year because the Kyle Pitts pick didn't work out. I don't know. Maybe Falcons fans don't like the logic there. I think he'd be a good replacement. I really do. For the Arizona Cardinals, I'm going to actually go Mike Green, all right? I know they signed a Josh Sweat in free agency, But you throw Mike Green at the other edge, that pass rush significantly got better this offseason then. Like, Josh Sweat was the best edge rusher available in free agency this year. Mike Green is, other than like Abdul Carter, is really the best, pass rushing, pure edge rusher sort of thing. I think that'd help the Cardinals quite a bit here. For the Bengals, I am going to be basic here and, stick with giving them Kenneth Grant. I feel like having that interior D-line help would really, really help them a lot. Especially where he can pass rush and stop the run really well. For the Seahawks, I swear every video I have Seahawks fans like throwing me back and forth saying like, no, they need to take interior line, no, they need a receiver, or no, they need safety in some situations. Like, I feel like it's going to be a situation that no matter who I pick for them, there's going to be some fans that are upset. I do think Tyler Booker makes a lot of sense for them. Really, their interior line has not been the same since losing Damian Lewis. So, Tyler Booker is an excellent replacement there. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm going to go ahead and give them... Normally, I'd go Jahdae Barron right here. I'm actually going to go Malachi Starks here. Because you pair him up with Antoine Winfield, that is a really, really good safety duo. Like, that really helps the back end of that secondary there. I know they need some corner help too. Jahdae Barron would normally be the pick. But again, we're trying to kind of switch things up a little bit in this one to, see what other like possibilities there really are. So for the Broncos, because of that, I'm not going to be going with Omarion Hampton right here. I think we will go ahead and go with Colston Loveland. Omarion Hampton has kind of become... Or wait a minute. Wait. I just made a mistake. I forgot the Broncos signed Evan Ingram in free agency. So, yeah, I totally messed that up. Give me a minute, guys. I'm going to start the mock over, and I'll meet you back when I have that adjusted. Alright, guys. So I'm back with the Broncos pick. I don't know what I was thinking there selecting Colston Loveland. I had totally forgotten that they signed Evan Ingram. So, yeah, that's totally my mistake. I'm wondering then if we really do just pull the trigger on Omarion Hampton. Because, I mean, really, like, the top receivers are out of reach now. I mean, I guess you could go after, like, Luther Burden or Mika Igbokwe. I don't know how much you'd really want to do that. You know what? Let's go ahead and follow the trend we have been doing and give him Omarion Hampton. I feel like that one does make some sense. And I don't really see another pick here that really shows as like a great alternative option, So, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to go ahead and give them defensive tackle Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. We know Mike Tomlin loves to go in the trenches. I think that just makes the most sense there. Chargers, now again, this is really 99% of the time going to be Colston Loveland. I think with Denver signing Evan Ingram, I think it allows Colston Loveland to slip to the Chargers. This one, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and go with Jahdae Barron. They're probably going to end up losing Asante Samuel in free agency. And Barron is an insanely good corner. I think he can do man and zone actually quite well. Um, and really, just the Chargers just need like good players, you know. And Barron is one of those guys that, I mean, there's been talk of him going as early as top 8. I have legitimately seen him mocked to the Carolina Panthers, you know. So if he's falling clear to 22, like the Chargers are getting a real good corner right here if he were to fall this far. So, and that kind of ends up being tough for the Packers because I truly believe they would take him right there as well. I think instead we're going to go with James Pierce out of Tennessee. I like Michael Williams too. I feel like a lot of people are lower on him because of his like lack of college production. But you look at this last year and Williams was injured all season, and as an edge rusher, playing injured all year is not a good way to, produce. I know he has really, really good traits, and a lot of people don't like drafting off of traits, but even like you watch the tape, he gets pressure, he's good at using his hands. Like get him into the right system and he'll be good. Um but I felt like James Pierce is a little bit more ready right now. Um, in Green Bay, I felt like wanted to, have a guy they can plug and play, right away. For the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to go ahead and go with Nick Emenwari out of South Carolina. Houston here. So they have actually, they've cleaned up the offensive line pretty well. They got Cam Robinson, and then they signed Trent Brown. Um, I still have questions on the interior D line though, or sorry, interior O line. I know I'm pretty sure the only signing they got there was when they traded for Ed Ingram, which I don't really look at as like a starting piece. Um, I'm wondering if maybe you take a look at wide receiver since they're probably losing Stephon Diggs. And really, I don't know if Tank Dell's going to be ready for the season. I really don't. You gotta wonder if CJ Stroud would be advocating for bringing in Igbuka since they played together in college. I I think I'm gonna bring in Emeka Igbuka right here. I know Texans fans probably won't love that, but I mean, in a year that like Diggs is gone and um again Tank Dell, I really don't know if he's gonna be ready. Like I really don't. Um, Igbuka would already have that chemistry with CJ Stroud, and you've almost got to wonder if like them rebuilding the O line in free agency, is them gearing up so that they can take Igbuka. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but for the Rams here, I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and go with Colston Loveland finally. Um, I know they currently have Tyler Higbee, but he's 32 right now. He'll be 33 towards the end of the season. He's also had some injury issues, and I know behind him you've got Kobe Parkinson. I just don't feel great about that group of tight ends. Um, I feel like that's definitely a spot you want to get younger, faster, and just more explosive at. And Colston Loveland is definitely a guy that can help out with that. Um, Honestly, I feel like he'd fit really well in Sean McVay's system too. So for the Baltimore Ravens, I'm gonna have them finally take Michael Williams out of Georgia. Um, I think this is pretty much the farthest he even has a chance to fall. So Lions, I think we'll take Shamar Stewart right here. Commanders. I think for the Commanders, I think we'll go with the Jonathan Allen replacement and get him Derek Harmon. Buffalo on the board now. Honestly, I think Donovan Eziraku has to be the pick right here. Get some really good edge help. If you're not familiar with him, definitely watch some tape on him. He's very explosive off the edge. He's bendy. He's good at using his hands. Um, I feel like he's a pretty underrated prospect. I really do. Um, he's another guy just like Nick Emenwari was earlier this offseason that like I had him as like a fringe first rounder, but would usually have him more in like the early second round. He's a guy now for me that I'd be a little surprised if he doesn't go, in the tail end of the first round. So, Kansas City, I'm going to have him take Josh Simmons. I think that's a pretty easy pick. And then for the Eagles, I'm not entirely sure what to do for them because last time I had them go Nick Emenwari, and he's, long gone in this one. So it's a little bit tough for them. Um, well, I gotta take some time to think about that one. All right, so I've decided. I'm gonna go Gray Zabel right here. I know they traded C.J. Gardner Johnson for Kenyon Green. Honestly, like that's not Howie's best move. All right, like I know Howie is known for making really really good, even like splash type of moves. That's not one of his better moves. All right, Kenyon Green is not good. All right, I'm sorry to say he's not a good guard. Gray Zabel, I think, can come in and instantly be a massive upgrade in that spot. Um, I will admit I'm a little shocked they didn't get Makai Becton back. I thought that was going to be one of the guys they were going to be able to prioritize and get back for cheap. Obviously, they couldn't. He signed with, I think it was the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. So Gray Zabel's a great replacement there. He really is. So, you know, I think that's going to be a much better um, guard there to have than Kenyon Green is. Again, I do not understand the CJ Gardner Johnson trade. I don't know if there's like issues going on behind closed doors with him. Um, but that'd be the second time they've let go of him. So I don't know. Maybe there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't know of. Either way, that can go down a whole longer conversation. Make sure to smash the like button if you liked this mock draft. Again, make sure to subscribe as well, and I'll see you next time. Later.